Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. It's about that time. It feels like Christmas came early. Somebody pinch me. Please don't actually pinch me. But the Philadelphia Eagles and the rest of the NFL, who really cares about them? The Philadelphia Eagles released their schedule, so we know every single game. We know when it's happening, where it's happening, and who we're going against. We already knew the opponents, but obviously getting the times and places just makes it that much more official. I personally don't really care about schedules getting released, to be 100% honest with you. It's one of those things that you got to play it up for yourself, because we have a good couple of months that we're not going to have any football, any real content. I mean, we'll have training camp. You guys know I love to watch training camp and go through what's going through, practices and all that. But we got some time to wait, all right? We got some time to wait. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. So I'm excited that we at least got this little bit of information, but obviously doesn't mean that much. So what are we going to do to make it mean a little bit more? We're going to go ahead and give you my first record prediction. Now, I do want to say that last year I was off by, I believe, 2 games. The year prior to that, I did call the 14-3. So go ahead and leave your comments, because if I'm right again, I will be letting you guys know that I was right, and I will be pulling up receipts of anybody that told me I was wrong. So, without further ado, we're going to hop right into it. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe, join the family. Appreciate all the support that you guys have shown so far. But let's keep it going, man. So, let's hop right into it. As you can see at the bottom, now you can see it. We got these beautiful little, W and L's right at the bottom, right? So we are going to go ahead and pick whether or not we think that the game is going to be a dub or a L, right? I don't have no ties. There's not going to be no ties in my predictions. We don't do that, okay? There's no sprinkles for losers. But we're going to start right off with the Green Bay game. Now, this is technically a home game, right? It is technically a home game. Don't feel like it. We're going to be in Brazil, so it's going to be tough. We'll see what happens. I personally think that this is going to be a tough game, and you will learn something about your team, win or lose, in this game. And this is a perfect kind of test of heart, right? It is kind of the perfect test of heart to start off your season. You have a new coordinator at both spots, offense and defense. So you are going to be brand new to a Green Bay Packers team that shocked a lot of people last year, obviously being the first 7 seed to ever win a playoff game. Shout out to the Cowboys for making history. But at the end of the day, this is going to be a very interesting matchup. You got Jordan Love on their side, obviously got some weapons at the wide receiver position. Defensively, they're young, they're fast, so it's gonna be fun to watch. I personally think that the Eagles come away with this dub. Now, like I said, it is technically a home game. It's gonna feel like a road game, but Brazil, I mean, look at their flag. They're already green. Why not already just have love for the Philadelphia Eagles? They do technically have yellow in there too, so the Packers, but we're not looking at that. I think that the Eagles go out there in a hard fought battle. I think that they pull this game out. Now, the next one is gonna be easy for me. All right, we have the guy that at the end of the day, we've seen him so many times. I think this is the 3rd time that we're seeing Kirk Cousins in prime time within the first couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously, before it was with the Vikings. Now it will be with the Falcons. I personally think the Falcons are going to be a good team. You got Kyle Pitts, you got Bijan, now you got Kirk Cousins. You got a lot of really interesting players out there, some good wide receivers, pretty good defense, again, a young defense, but we all know Kirk Cousins. And what he does in prime time. So I'm going to have the Eagles going ahead and starting off 2-0. I think that that's fair. I think, last year, last year when we played Kirk Cousins, it was one of those that it was early in the season. I was like, maybe we lose it, but after that, I can't keep on saying that he's going to do anything in prime time. We've seen it far too often, him just choking in big moments. So I'm thinking there's going to be another big moment for him. I think the Eagles go out there and win this game. Again, I think it'll be a good game. I think that these first couple of games are going to be good games. The Falcons are no slouch, obviously, and obviously the Packers are no slouch as well, and they're going to come wanting to kind of prove that they are a good team, that they are who they were towards the end of the year last year. I think they won like their last 5-6 games, something like that. So they have something to prove, obviously, have shown that they can play against really good teams. So it's going to be a fun one. I'm looking forward to. I am definitely looking forward to it. Now, the next one is going to be an interesting one as well. I don't think this is going to be that good of a game. There was a time and period that the Saints just scared me. I'm going to be real with you. There was like a period of time where it felt like we played the Saints almost every single year, and they just had our number. It felt like it changed as soon as Jalen Hurts came in, right? When Jalen Hurts went out there, and obviously they didn't have their quarterback, but they had the number one defense. They were, winning games without even their quarterback, and it just felt like Jalen Hurts took that game over, ran all over them. And ever since then, I just really haven't been afraid of the Saints. I know that they got Olave. Kamara might be healthy for that game. We'll see. They got Derek Carr, who I think is a pretty good player. They just don't have anything that really scares me. I'm going to be real with you. They don't have anything that makes me sit there and be like, oh, we got to play the Saints this year. I think that this is going to be another W. Now, it is an away game, so you always got to factor that in. That's going to be our first technical away game. Again, it feels like the first week is an away game. But I think that we're gonna slaughter them. I'm gonna be 100% honest, and maybe that's a little bit too confident. But I truly do believe that. I think that we go out there and we beat them pretty handedly. And if we don't, that says a lot more about our season. Then, if we don't go out there and beat the Saints, I'm going to be a little bit worried about this Eagles team. Now, the next one is going to be a game I'll be at. You guys know I live in Tampa, so I will definitely be at that Tampa Bay game. I was there last year when we took over the stadium, not for the playoff game, but I was there for the regular season game where we just took over the stadium. There was Eagles fans all over the place. This is going to be an interesting one just for the fact that we've been taken out by them a couple times now in the playoffs. I believe 2 times, right? One with Tom Brady, one with Baker Mayfield. Last year felt like we took ourselves out of the playoffs. It felt like we just weren't playing. But kudos to them. They beat us. It is what it is, and they beat us pretty handedly. I think that the Eagles win this game, and the reason why I think that the Eagles win this game is because, like I said, I did go to the last game that they were in Tampa. It felt like a home game. This is early in the season. Doesn't feel like they're going to crumble this early in the season. Not saying that they're going to crumble in the season at all. Hopefully they don't. But I don't think if they do it this early. And you're going into bye week. So you kind of just, you don't have to really worry about expenditure, right? You don't have to worry about, I'm getting these guys too tired. You have a really early bye week. So you go out there and you beat on the Buccaneers. I think that you can go ahead and do that. Baker's good. I don't know if he's the contract that he got good. I don't know if he's franchise quarterback good, but they have faith in him. Obviously, they just re-signed their safety, so he's a really, really good player. It's going to be interesting. You get Devin White coming back home, I guess. It's going to be fun to see what he's able to do against his former team. But without any further ado, I got us winning this game as well. So I got us starting off 4-0 right before the weirdest bye in the world. This is, I guess it happens. I was looking it up because I was like, I can't remember the last time that the Eagles had a bye this early, but it happens. It's week 5 through 14. So the Eagles have the earliest bye week that they can possibly have. And to me, that's an L. I'm going to put, I know it's a bye week. Nobody wins, nobody loses, but it just feels like an L. It doesn't feel right. I don't know, especially as much as we're going to have to travel in those first couple of weeks. Maybe that makes sense, but it is what it is. We don't even play any real meaningful game. If we lose all of these games, that really would hurt us, but if we lose 1 or 2 of these games, it doesn't really set us back. You want to win these games, but it doesn't really set us back because you look at the division, and the division is all the way in the back half of the schedule. So that's really where you got to get going. So you're asking your team to basically go on like a 13-0 run, and really go out there and ball out. But either way, I just feel like that's a loss, having that early of a bye week. We'll take that away, though, because it's not a real loss. And then we have the Browns. The Browns were out here trolling people, man. The Browns were out here really, really trolling people. I don't know if you guys saw their post. Maybe I'll put it up in editing. I'll post the picture that they put up just in case you didn't see it. But they were really trying to troll us, man, and I didn't like it. I don't like it, but that's what they're doing. They were trolling everybody, I guess it's funny. It's cute. But I think that we're going to go out there and murder the Browns. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Coming off of a bye, I don't see a world where they beat us. Deshaun Watson's good, right? They got a good running game. So you guys tell me, this is probably going to be the first time that I ask you guys to tell me, what am I missing with the Cleveland Browns? Should I be afraid of them? Because right now I really am not afraid of them. I don't think that they're a great team. I don't think that they're a team I should be fearing. So, I mean, yeah, I got this as a dub. And so far we got the Eagles at 5-0, which I think is very realistic. Now the Giants, we go away for this Giants game. And that's going to be a fun one because that's going to be the Metro Life, right? So, yeah, that's the first game that he'll be back in New York. He'll be playing his former team. I mean, listen, if we lose to Daniel Jones, we got more to worry about, okay? We got way more to worry about than just that one loss if we lose to Daniel Jones. Obviously, all the emotion and everything that'll be behind it, you never know what can happen. Saquon Barkley, this is your game to go out there and have 200 yards. That's all I got to say about that. I'm not going to, we got to talk about them at the end again. So maybe I'll go a little bit more in depth there, but I'm not afraid of the Giants. They ain't no world. I'm going to quote my big homie, Big Game James. I ain't afraid of them. I am not afraid of them. All right. We ain't afraid of no Giants. So yeah, I got that as a dub. Now the next one, maybe you disagree, and I would totally understand if you disagree with this. This will be our first 4:00 game, so there's that. This is an away game in Cincinnati. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. Do they still have T. Higgins? I know, like off the top of my head, I know that this is a vaunted offense. Defensively, they got some dogs as well. So this is going to be a really, really tough game. I'm going to be real with you. This is going to be a hard game. And for that reason, I do think this is the first time we take a L. I think that the Eagles lose to the Cincinnati Bengals, but I think it'll be a hard-fought game. We'll see what happens. Obviously, it's going to have to do a lot with health, who's ready, who's available for us. But I think that if you're going to slip up, I understand slipping up to the Cincinnati Bengals. They're a perennial playoff team, a consistent Super Bowl contender. So I get it. I'm going to give it to them. Maybe this changes. And that now, understand me, I'm going to do this again on Best of Enemies. So once I'm in front of James and I'm in front of George, I'm probably going to change some of these because you guys know how that gets. I'm not going to be easy to admit defeat. But so I got that as our first loss. Now, this is where it kind of becomes a slippery slope, okay? You start having some teams that are some teams. This is when you kind of get, there's no real gauntlet in our, schedule, but this is where I think it kind of revs up in toughness as far as the schedule goes. You have the Jaguars, which, look, the Jaguars are a young, scrappy team. They figure out ways to win. They obviously got Dougie P, so he understands Philadelphia. Maybe not this team, right? We're a far cry from the team that he had in 2017, 2018, but at the same time, he understands what Philadelphia is. He understands the grit, the grind that we're going to try and, in every game that we have. That's what we are. We're a hard fighting team. I don't think that they beat us. Okay, this is a primetime game. I understand that. This is a home game, which is beautiful. Maybe it's the first game we play wear Kelly Green. I'm going to throw that out there. I think this would be a really cool time to do it. But at the end of the day, I think the Jaguars are a good team. I'm looking at who I think the Eagles are and comparing that to teams that we're going against right now. Everything can change. Everything can change from here till the beginning of the season. But when I look at who the Eagles are right now and who they want to be at the end of the season, if you want to be that type of team, this is the type of team you have to beat. You just have to beat them. They are a good team. They're most likely going to be a playoff team again. But you got to go out there and beat them. And again, this is a home game. This is, coming off a loss in my scenario. You have to go out there and beat them. So maybe it's unrealistic, but I have them so far at 7-1. And again, this is kind of where the schedule starts to rev up. Now, I'm going to be real with you. This is probably going to change, all right? But I'm going to be real. I'm going to be honest for you guys, as honest as I can be. And then I'm probably going to put on my fight, once I get into Best of Enemies. But if I'm being real, I always do this almost every year, and I might be honest in Best of Enemies too, but I always feel like the Eagles and Dallas Cowboys split. Do I want us to sweep them? For sure. Do I think that this is a year that it could happen? For sure. I definitely do see that being a possibility. I mean, you got a lame duck season for your head coach. You got a lame duck season for your quarterback. Could be a lame duck season for your wide receiver if you don't pay him. Could be a lame duck season for your outside linebacker if you don't pay him. So there's a lot of things surrounding the Dallas Cowboys that has nothing to do with on the field. So if all those things kind of factor into what happens on the field, we could be looking at us sweeping them, and we could be looking at them having a pretty bad year. But we're looking at the truth of what it is right now, who they have right now. I'm going to say that that's another L for us. All right. Again, I don't want to. There's nothing in me that says, I'm afraid of them. I'm not afraid of them. But I think that this is, I think that we always split, so it just makes sense to me. Washington, we beat them twice last year. Obviously they have a new quarterback. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I cannot wait to see what Jayden Daniels does. And that's just the football fan in me, not the Eagles fan, not the, nothing like that. That's just the football fan in me. I can't wait to see what Jayden Daniels does. One thing that James has continuously said about the Dan Snyder, not Dan Snyder, whatever their freaking coach is. I don't know why I can't remember it. Dan Quinn, there we go. Dan Quinn, what he's repeatedly said about him, which is true, is that he has a first couple good years. So I do think that the Washington Commanders are going to turn their team around pretty quickly because they do have a good staff. And they did make some really good moves this offseason, had a fantastic draft, had a really good offseason. So I think that they're going to be a good team, and I think they're going to be fighting for a playoff spot this year. It's going to be tough because it's going to be two teams, in my opinion, coming out of the NFC East. Will they be one of them? Long story short, I got us beating them this game. So right now we are at 3, 6, 8, and 2. Respectable. Now the Rams, they don't have your boy Aaron Donald no more, so that's really the only person that kind of worried me. And then to be real with you, Aaron Donald never really did anything against the Eagles. But you look at Puka Nacua, you look at Cooper, you look at Stafford, you look at that offense, they have a very good offense. This is going to be a very good test for our defense. Are we going to be able to keep up with them? I think that if we were playing the Rams earlier in the year, okay, if you switch like the Saints and the Rams, I would probably have them as beating us just because I don't think that our defense will be fully formed by then. But by here, you're looking at week 12. By then, you should kind of know who you are on defense, and I think that that's going to help you a lot. And I think that they'll be able to scheme something up to stop that offense, and I don't think they'll be able to stop our offense. So I think that our defense, we'll be able to figure it out. I don't know if their defense will. So I'm going to go with us winning this game. I think that it's going to be a great game. Again, this is going to be a great test for the Eagles, but I do have them winning this game. Now, the next one is probably, looking at the schedule, probably the hardest game on the schedule, right? I can't think of another game that is going to be as tough as the Baltimore Ravens. Obviously, adding, a guy like Derrick Henry is going to only make their running game even better. They've had so much injury issues with their running backs. Obviously, J.K. Dobbins in and out of the roster. So, I hate to do this. I think that we have a very good chance of beating this team. Again, it is an away game, but I think we have a very, very good chance of winning this game. But I'm going to say we lose it, okay? I'm going to say we lose. I think that this is a very, very good team. And again, I think this is the best team we might play this whole year. Again, things can shape up. Things can, work differently. But I'm going to have us losing this game for now, okay? And we'll revisit it. We'll revisit all this. You know what I'm saying? If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll be happy to be wrong. But I just think that they have a very strong team, and it's going to be even with a great defense, it's going to be hard to stop them if they're all healthy. If they're fully healthy, you got your tight end out there, Mark. You just have a really good squad all around. Defensively, they're really good. So we're going to go with an L there. The next one, I'm not going to take too much time on it because they really don't deserve too much time. But it's the Panthers. Yeah. We're going to win that game. All right, we're going to win that game. The next one is going to be the Battle of Pennsylvania. This is going to be a fun one as well. I don't think that they have a great team this year. I think they have a great coach, and he's going to make them fight, and they're going to figure out ways to win games. But I'm not afraid of anybody on this team. Again, in the comments, let me know who I'm missing. Who am I missing that could be the determining factor? You got Pickens. Who am I missing? Who am I realistically not looking at that should be the? I really can't think of anybody off the top of my head. The cornerback that they just drafted, he's pretty darn good. Joey Porter. Other than that, there's nobody that really strikes fear into my heart. So I think that we go ahead and win this game. So far going into the last 3 games of our season, I got us at 5, 8, 11, and 3. All right, 11 and 3. So will we get to 14 wins? That would be interesting. Do I think that we sweep the Washington Commanders? Do I think that? That's the question. Going away. You're going away to the Washington Commanders. They fought you last year, both games. Tooth and nail. Yes, I do think that we're going to sweep them. Okay, I'm not going to. We're going to sweep them. The next one I have is the Cowboys. Again, I told you, I think that we split with them, so I have this one being a W. All right, at this point, you have 3 losses. You have 5, 9, 12, 4, 8. Yeah, I can't do math. 13. You have 13 wins. You have 3 losses. It obviously depends on where everybody else in the division is, especially with Dallas Cowboys. If they're going to be the number 2 team, obviously has to do with who's going to be the top teams in the NFC as well. If you're looking at a bye, if you already kind of have it seeded up by now, I'm going to say this goes 2 ways. All right. If we are, everything's locked up and we're seated, we have our number 1 seed, we don't got to worry about the division, nothing like that. I think that the Giants could beat us. If we're not worrying about it, if we're sitting guys, definitely they could beat us. But looking at what the Eagles have done in the past, even when we have had things kind of locked up, they still play their starters like a half. They still kind of go out there and try and win the game. So I'm going to say that the Eagles go ahead and win this game, and that leaves us at 14-3. I'm going to be real with you. This is the 3rd year in a row that I've chosen 14-3. So, we'll go over it one more time. We got Green Bay Packers as a dub. We got the Falcons as a dub, Saints, and then the Buccaneers both as a dub. We have our weirdest bye week. Then we have the Browns. We have the Giants as a dub. And then we take our first loss in week 8 to the Bengals away in Cincinnati. I got us coming right back on Sunday Night Football off a little bit of extra rest. You got a W on the Jaguars. Then you get an L with the Cowboys. Then you get a W with the Washington Commanders, who, again, I think are going to be a much improved team. The Rams, another W. Then you take another loss, and that's going to be to the Baltimore Ravens. Got us getting 4 W's in a row to end the season off with the Panthers, the Steelers, the Commanders, the Cowboys, and the Giants. So you guys let me know what you're thinking. Who do you have? What do you have as your record prediction? I want to know down below. How are you feeling about this? I mean, I'm excited. This is one step closer to the NFL actually starting, right? So I can't be upset about that. I can't be happier about that. I'm ready. Let me know in the comments if you're ready, because it's a beautiful time to be alive. What a time to be alive, right? So let me know the record predictions in the comments. Other than that, we will be back probably tomorrow or something like that with another video. But yeah, y'all know what it is, man. Y'all know what it's going to be. It's Fly Goes Fly. And we are out here. Peace.
Yeah. Fly was flying on the team. Touchdown. Time to get Jalen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a Bird Gang Nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man soft. Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randall. Season hit, early time to do them in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in.